Hey guys, it's Joe. This is Pocket with Joe. It is a Thursday, May 12th, 2022. We're here to talk some NHL, and I'm excited for it, you guys. We've got great games on the ice tonight. Just while everyone jumps on the stream here, let's look at what happened yesterday. So we had some great games yesterday. My Calgary Flames, we have to talk about them first, even though they were the last game of the night. Came out phenomenal last night. Well, not phenomenal. I'll backtrack on that. The first and second period terrified me. Dallas ended up getting up one goal in the second. It was 1-0 going into that third, but Calgary came back in that third, getting 3 goals, winning that game. It was a phenomenal finish to that one. We kept the under 5.5. That's what we were rolling with this. We almost had got Johnny Gaudreau and Calgary for the win at plus 235, but he wasn't able to get that goal. And it was just a solid game, you guys. I'm looking for, though, Calgary to get more shots on net. We saw in the third period, getting those shots on net, they were able to get something done. In the third period, they almost had more shots than they did in the first and second. Definitely the way they need to approach this Dallas Stars team. Just get it done. In the other two games, though, we had the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. Rangers staying alive in that one, getting the win 5-3 over the Penguins. Penguins still lead the series 3-2. The Washington Capitals and the Florida Panthers. I saw this game completely wrong, you guys. I really did think Washington would have performed better in this one. They weren't able to keep it tight. The Panthers won that 5-3. I did think we would see more defense out of both of these teams. I thought Washington was going to limit the Panthers. Didn't happen, so we didn't hit that under 6.5. So we kind of split yesterday on this. We got the Rangers and their team total over, fell apart on the Washington Capitals plus 1.5 and that one under. But we did get the Calgary Flames coming in under that total in that one. So let's jump into today's games. I'm excited for these games, you guys. We have 4 phenomenal games on the board. There are some teams that could be going home tonight and going home for the season in here. So let's look at the first game with the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Boston Bruins. Now the Canes come in here plus 108 on that money line, minus 120 for the Boston Bruins. We have a total of 6. Now home ice has been absolutely lights out for these teams. We saw the Canes in the first 2 games win 5-1 in the first, 5-2 in the second, home ice. Go into Boston. Boston wins 4-2 in the third game. In the fourth, 5-2. Canes come back home, 5-1 win. They're making the Boston Bruins here the favorite because that home ice advantage. I think home ice advantage ends tonight, you guys. I'm going to roll with the Carolina Hurricanes if I have to take a side at plus 105 and shop those lines. I've seen it up to plus 112. I think the value is there. I think Carolina is just too strong. And as long as they play a smart game tonight, which means they can't get these penalties. Every time they get Boston gets on a power play, they are playing absolutely phenomenal. The Carolina Hurricanes aren't able to take advantage of one last man on the ice for them. They're not getting things done. And Boston is just steamrolling over them. Carolina has to come out. They have to play defensively. They have to limit the Boston Bruins shots on goal. We know they're phenomenal at limiting those shots on goal to 28.2 on the season and that 2.44 goals. But we've seen the Boston Bruins get the better of them. But I don't think it happens in this one. I'm going to lean on the Carolina Hurricanes. I think we have probably a higher scoring one, unless the Canes shut them down completely, which I don't see either. Because you guys have to remember, Boston goes home, stays home in this one if they lose. The Canes are up 3-2 in the series. We get desperate play in those situations. I hate taking unders when we're in this case where when Boston pulls their goalie so early, Canes get an empty goal and then they pull it again and Canes get an empty goal. So the only way I could take the total would be the over, but I definitely think the Carolina Hurricanes pull it off and get to relax a couple more days before the next round starts. Now, the next game here, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Toronto comes in here at plus 122, minus 135 for the Lightning, and a total of 6.5. This one has goals written all over it, left, right, and center. You guys, I have to ride the over 6.5. Does it look obvious? Yes, but we look at these games, these matchups. We do see the Leafs leading the series 3-2. The Leafs won that first game 5-1. Lightning won the second 5-3. All of these games have been high scoring. The lowest scoring game we saw was game 1 with a 6 total in that game, with the Leafs winning that 5-1, limiting the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I don't see them doing that tonight. I really do think we'll see a strong performance as the Tampa Bay Lightning, a fight for their lives. I think this is game 6. If the Leafs win it tonight, the Lightning are staying home. I would love, love, love to sit here for Leafs fans and say, absolutely, you guys are going to win it. We're getting plus money here. I'm going to go with the Leafs, but I can't. I really look at this and I think the Tampa Bay Lightning just will be absolutely lights out tonight at minus 135. I'm willing to take a risk on them. I do think the smarter play and the best play on this one is the over 6.5. The other way that I think after the over would be the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first period, because I'm liking the value. Because in the first period, we get them at plus 158. I just really do think they come out strong to start. I just worry in that third period, anything can happen. And I think the best way is the Lightning first period. Strong at home at first, out of the gate, you guys. So give me them in this one. And then let's look at the next game with the Minnesota Wild taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now the Wild minus 100 here, minus 110 for the St. Louis Blues, total of 6.5. Now this is another one where this series could end tonight for the Minnesota Wild. If the St. Louis Blues pull off the home win here, Minnesota is out. And I think that's what happens, you guys. I've just seen Fleury struggle too much in these games, especially the last 2 games, allowing 5 goals in both of those games by the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis, what they are doing, they still are allowing the shots on goal, but Binghamton is just playing incredible. 18, 14, and 4 only on the season with a 3.13 goals against average. But in these playoffs, he's playing absolutely fantastic. The Blues, 1 game 1, Wild 1 game 2 and 3, and the Blues 1 game 4 and 5. I really do think we can count on a stronger offensive game out of both of these teams. Again, elimination game. I think we could see those empty netters coming in, pushing us over that 6.5 total. When we look at the last 5 games, they have averaged there has been 32 goals. So averaging 6.4 goals per game, just right under that 6.5. I'm willing to take a chance that we will go over it. Fleury is allowing 2.84 goals against him on average, but that's on the season. We saw the Blues put 4 up against him in game 1, 5 in game 2, 5 in game, that would be 4, and 5 in game 5. So he can be taken advantage of, and I think we see it tonight. Now, one of the players that I'm looking to take advantage of him is Ryan O'Reilly. His shots on goal for the St. Louis Blues is 2.5, and I absolutely love it over. We're seeing this has hit in 4 of his last 5 games at over 2.5, and it's plus 112. We're getting plus money on it. His points over 0.5 is definitely a safer way to go. You're going to pay juice on that at minus 141. But if you want to play the safer way, I don't think either way you won't cash out on this. But that is over 0.5 points at minus 141. So you guys, we got a great game on our hands. I really do think the Blues win it tonight and eliminate the Minnesota Wild. The next game and the last game on the board. Now, I am biased with this game. I'm going to admit, we got the Edmonton Oilers taking on the LA Kings. Now, Edmonton comes in here at minus 144. The LA Kings plus 120 on home ice and a total of 6.5. I'm biased. I am not a fan of the Edmonton Oilers. I cannot trust in Mike Smith. I love to see a Battle of Alberta. Absolutely, I would, because that's going to be absolutely phenomenal if the Edmonton Oilers can get the win today. But I don't see it happening. And I love the value on the LA Kings at plus 120 here. The Kings are leading this series 3-2. So if they win it tonight, bye-bye Edmonton. They go home and the Kings advance. And I just look at what I saw out of the Kings in their last game, getting that win 5-4. It was just absolutely phenomenal. I can't trust in Mike Smith, and that's what it comes down to in this matchup. Mike Smith in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. I can't trust him. Dallas, their goalie Ottinger, he is up right away. I'm really hoping for Edmonton, not as a Calgary fan. As a Calgary fan, I really hope that Edmonton doesn't get Ottinger, but I could see him going to Edmonton. He would be a phenomenal addition to them. I just really do think Mike Smith isn't prepared to make it through this whole series here. I think he will struggle in this one again. So without Nurse, who is on suspension, 1-game suspension, he is phenomenal for their defense. I think we're going to get more shots on goal by the LA Kings on Mike Smith, and the Kings just finish it off. It really was to the detriment of the Edmonton Oilers losing Nurse on the suspension for this game. It's really going to affect them. He totally dominates on that blue line defensively. And this is something the LA Kings are going to take advantage of tonight. And at plus 120, when I already don't have faith in the goalie, I have to ride with the Kings tonight. Now we've got a total of 6.5 in this one. I think we have to go off the total. I think we have to stay away from it, because we saw in game 1, the Oilers limit the Kings. Or sorry, in game 2, the Oilers limit the Kings 6-0. We saw the Kings limit the Oilers in game 4, 4-0. I could see the Kings limiting the Oilers in this one tonight. I think they come out just so strong defensively, and offensively they play phenomenal, especially without Nurse back there and with Mike Smith in goal. So I'm going to stay off the total in this one. I was going to look at the team total for the LA Kings, and I'll just look at that right now for you guys, because that is one way I really do think I'm strong on the LA Kings to get those pucks in the back of the net. The LA Kings in the first period also is something I would look at taking. Yeah, I'm not loving the value. So the LA Kings over 2.5 goals is minus 161. So definitely not something I am willing to play at that high of juice, you guys. But let's just look at this first period. And the first period results for the LA Kings is plus 198. You guys know that plus money. I am going to jump on that right away for the LA Kings to come out strong. Now, if the Edmonton Oilers go up in that first period, I think the LA Kings can come back. But if the LA Kings go up and they're dominating in that first period, we have seen Edmonton come back before, but they struggle to come back in situations. There has been a span of games during the season where they went down in that first period, automatic loss for the full game. They just lose that drive. This being an elimination game, I don't see them losing that drive at all, but I do see it being a struggle if they do go down. I think the Kings get the win here, and I'm going to stick with it. So I'm going to take the LA Kings in the first period and the Kings for the game with that plus money. But you guys, that was all 4 of the games here. I'm going to do a quick recap here so you guys can write down exactly what I'm taking without having to listen to all the other information. So in the first game, I'm going to take the Carolina Hurricanes to pull off the win tonight and end this series. Plus 105. I absolutely love it. I also think you can look at the over in this game and the first period. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the best bet here is the over 6.5 for a high-scoring game. I would lean on the Lightning to get the win tonight and take this one to Game 7. My favorite bet in here is the Lightning in the first period at plus 158. The Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. I'm going to lean on the Blues to close out this series and send the Minnesota Wild home. I do think a nice play would be on the over 6.5 in this one. And Ryan O'Reilly, shots on goal over 2.5 and points over 0.5. The Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. I'm going to take the Kings here to get the straight up win, set the Edmonton Oilers home, ending this series. No play on the total for this one, you guys. But that was it for Puck It with Joe. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back here at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And don't worry, we will be here on the weekends at 11 a.m. Eastern for all of your NHL bets. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Keep smiling, and you know the drill. Let's make some frickin' money. Bye, guys.